Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of clips from Professor Brain Fever, one of which he says that if you want to live long enough to see your grandkids, you're fatphobic. No, I'm not making that up. Somebody makes a comment along those lines, and he goes on to call it fat phobia. We're also going to be taking a look at a couple of bonus clips from Professor Brain Fever, as well as a clip that is going to be the start of a brand new series. I believe I'm going to run the series on Friday. The fattest thing I ever did, Fridays. We saw one clip of it before where that lady was talking about pretending to go to the gym, but she actually went to Chick-fil-A, and then her husband was so proud of her for going to the gym that he took her out to Chick-fil-A, and then she went... That is an amazing series, and the video that I have that is the first one to start the series is a banger, so stick around until the end. The fattest thing I ever did Fridays, or Fat Fridays, or Fattest Fridays, something like that. If you have any good ideas for the name of the series, leave a comment below. Before we proceed, please click like and subscribe so that I may apply comb to mustache. He's going to be responding to this comment that says, "Me personally would want to be as fit and healthy as possible to be alive long enough to watch my grandkids grow up."
If you ever hear someone talk about anti-fat bias or fat phobia, and you're like, what? That doesn't exist. That's not a real thing in America now. This is what it looks like.
This is what it looks like. So, if you've never seen anti-fat bias or fat phobia before, this is what it looks like. Me personally would want to be as fit and healthy as possible to be alive long enough to watch my grandkids grow up. Yeah, that's the worst anti-fat bias and fat phobia that I've ever seen. Professor Brain Fever, what the heck? Be alive long enough? What the heck is that supposed to mean? Want to be alive long enough to see my grandkids, you bigot? Oh my god, whoa. Who let the fat phobic piece of garbage in here? Whoa. I think he's being serious too. That look on your face looks pretty serious. I don't think you're joking, so that's alarming.
The vast majority of the time, it's this societal, culturally ingrained belief
that you should live long enough to see your grandkids. Dude, I hate how society makes you want to see your grandkids. You know, I've been saying that for years. Society has this deeply ingrained, fatphobic belief that we need to live long enough to see our grandkids grow up. What? God, you guys are bigots, bro. Dang. Just when you think that people couldn't get any worse or display any more bigotry. That happened. That's what this is. I'm pointing at the thing that happened. It's bad. It's bad.
That fat people are just gonna drop dead at some point.
Well, you know, are we really having this conversation, bro? After recent events, are we really having this conversation, my dude? There are like 2 or 3 people that have passed before the age of 40 very recently who were morbidly obese, and they were within the fat acceptance movement. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought it when I was a kid. All of media and people were like, oh, if you're fat, you're just gonna die young.
You don't think before 40 is young? I've outlived like 3 or 4 of these activists already.
I'm almost 40.
Okay, you're a lucky one.
I'm showing no signs of stopping.
Well, you know, Jamie Lopez would like to talk to you, as well as the others. Let's see, Cat Paws, Jamie Lopez... there's a few that I can think of, but I can't remember their names off the top of my head. Leave a comment below with the list of all the fat activists that have passed away within the past 3 years. I know that's a little morbid, but sometimes the truth is not pretty.
People drop dead, unfortunately, young, due to any number of reasons.
Including obesity?
Often.
Yeah, they do. They do die from obesity often. Thank you for saying that. You said that.
And not always because they're fat.
Okay, don't say that part. That's not true.
This is garbage. This is anti-fat bias.
What? A guy, he said he wants to live long enough to see his grandkids grow up. This is garbage? This is anti-fat bias. Professor Brain Fever, please step back from the brink of madness, my good sir. What are you doing? This is bizarre. Like, I don't know if you're being serious, because the guy said that he wants to live long enough to see his grandkids grow up, and you're going on this rant like this dude straight up assaulted somebody. It's bizarre. He didn't even say anything mean about anybody. He just said, I want to live long enough to see my grandkids. I think that triggered something inside of you that you personally identified with. You were like, oh, dude, he's right. This is not safe. Something bad might happen. And then you start panicking, and then you lash out in this way. And you didn't watch the video before you uploaded it to see that it didn't actually make any sense, right? The dude's like, I want to see my grandkids go up. And you're like, this garbage, this piece of work said that? And it's like, what? He didn't say anything crazy, bro. You're viewing this through some crazy lens, man. You're viewing this through all of your own issues, man.
Learn to see it. Please stop doing it.
Learn to see things that aren't there and stop doing things that you're not doing. Okay? That was weird. Now we're going to take a look at a couple of bonus clips from Professor Brain Fever. My God. Next.
I was listening to a new episode of Maintenance Phase, and apparently...
You were listening to Maintenance Phase? Wow, you got a better attention span than me, man. I tried to listen to that Maintenance Phase podcast a couple times. Phew, it's a real snoozer. I actually wanted to react to it because it's an absolute cringe fest, but it's all audio. There's no video to look at, so that would be lame to react to for the channel.
In other countries, it is not common practice to weigh you at every single doctor appointment.
Okay. So you're going to get a passport and move to another country. Okay. Can you imagine moving halfway across the world to try to escape your own obesity? This reminds me of the old saying, no matter where you go, there you are. Meaning you can't run away from your problems.
What?
Bro, is it really hurting you that bad to be weighed at the doctor's office? Come on, man. You're literally just being shown reality, okay? Like, they're not showing you fiction. They're saying, hey, step on this device that measures your weight. And this is like a huge deal to you, and it's some sort of point of contention. It's giving you anxiety and all this type of stuff. If getting weighed at the doctor's office is giving you that much anxiety and you have that much contempt around the whole process, it's probably because you're ashamed of the numbers on the scale. It's not the doctor or the scale that you're upset with, it's reality. I am upset that I weigh this much as measured by that device on the ground. It is not the device, nor the person telling you to step on the device that is at fault for what the device is displaying here. If you're short, do you get mad every time the doctor takes your height? You're like, dude, you just measured me last time. They see that it's bothering you, so they do it every time just to mess with you. That's what I would do if I was a doctor. Like, if I see that weighing you makes you all upset every time, we might take your weight like 3 times per visit. Why? I don't know. I don't have a lot going on. I went through 8 years of medical school to become a doctor just to mess with people. Sorry. It gets very boring being a doctor sometimes. You gotta screw with people. You just start telling people this stuff that's totally normal is not at all normal. You're like, what? Some sort of noxious odor came from your rear end? What? That's not normal. What the hell? Oh my God, we need to have you operated on immediately. You ate certain kinds of food and then a noxious odor emitted from your rear end and cleared out the room. That's not normal. I'm gonna have to call a specialist.
You mean that thing that contributes to the fact that fat people very often avoid going to doctors?
The scale. What you choose to be neurotic about is your own problem, right? Like, you not wanting to go to the doctor to step on the scale is not my problem, and you're not, like, teaching me anything by telling me about it. Just because the scale is a point of contention for many obese people doesn't mean I need to care about it. I don't need to care about what causes you pain, right? Lately, everybody is such a narcissist that they try to sway your behavior by telling you how it affects them, like you know that they exist. Did you guys ever stop to think of how this affects me? Random person that you do not know? No, I didn't. I didn't even know that you existed, so... And I don't care what's a point of contention for you going to the doctor. I care about... That looked a little... Ooh. Disregard this gesture. There was nothing weird about it.
That thing is uniquely American?
That's right. Freedom fries, baby. Being weighed. Oh, they don't believe that obesity is a cause for concern in other countries, I guess. I seriously doubt that. I'm sure that they weigh you.
Because of course it is.
Damn you, country, for causing me all of my problems, and it's not my fault. So... Oh, Professor Brain Fever, shut the fuck. Jesus Christ. According to the Maintenance Phase podcast, they don't weigh you in other countries for some reason. They don't believe that obesity is any sort of medical concern at all in other countries, I guess, so they don't need to measure it. Somehow I find that hard to believe. There's a very similar medical system worldwide. If you get super nervous about going to the doctor and being weighed, that might be a sign. You might have some sort of deeper-seated issue, or you might have some sort of issue with yourself that you need to work on. Next. Alright, he's going to respond to this comment that says, what's the difference between casting a fat person to play an evil fat person versus just using a fat suit? It's the same thing, basically. And then on the top it says, on this day, 6/20/2022. Are we having little flashbacks, dude? Have you been thinking about this question for an entire year?
So what's the difference between casting a fat person to play an evil fat person versus just using a fat suit? It's the same thing, basically. Well, it's not the same thing. In both cases, you're helping to perpetrate the stereotype of all things
Perpetrate or perpetuate?
fat being all things negative and bad and evil.
So when there's a fat villain, that means that all things fat are evil and negative. So we're only allowed to cast people as villains that actually are villains in real life. So, I don't know. Who would be okay with that role? If a thin person played the role of the villain, then what the heck? They're villainizing thin people. Like, if a person of this type or that type plays the villain, oh, then all people of that type are a villain. Like, this is stupid. Personally, when I go to see a movie and the bad guy's on the screen, I'm like, that guy, the real person who played that character, is a piece of garbage, bro. Did you see how mean he was to that other character in that fictional movie? That actor's a piece of work, I tell you. The way that he played that fictional character that is not at all an accurate representation of who he is was terrible. It was god-awful. How dare you? Get mad at acting now, huh? Okay. To be or not to be? That is the question. The hell is that supposed to mean, you fat-phobic piece of crap?
But in one of those scenarios, an actual real-life fat person gets a job.
Okay, and in one of those scenarios, a real-life actor gets a job and puts on a fat suit.
And that actual real-life fat person gets to present an actual real-life fat person.
Right, who cares? I would hire whoever is the best actor and can stay on their feet for 12 hours a day so we can do this filming. I don't have time to be screwing around. Movies cost a lot of money. Every single day of filming costs a fortune, so you need to film for as long as possible. That's why actors often work like 12 hours a day and more. Not just the actors, dude. The key grip, the director, all these other people work ridiculous hours. If a fat actor can't keep up with that, I'm not saying that being morbidly obese prevents you from getting up and being on your feet all day, but I'm not saying that either.
And look like an actual real-life fat person that actually exists in our world in a film.
So films need to be more concerned with obese realism than anything else. Like, all other points of the movie are kind of moot. It's really about the obesity realism. Is this how fat really jiggles? Is this how a fat person really looks? Is this how a fat person really acts?
So that other people, both fat and non-fat, can see what an actual real-life fat person actually looks like. And
so we need to cast actual fat actors in fat roles so that the world can see what an actual fat person looks like. Because we've never seen it before. Okay? In one video, you guys are saying the majority of people are overweight now. In the next video, you're saying you're a marginalized group. In this video, you're saying that nobody knows what a fat person looks like. It's weird. I'm going to go see a film that has an actual fat actor in it, and then I'm going to be like, oh, that's what fat people look like. I've been wondering this whole time. I've never been to Walmart before. I had no idea.
maybe they will actually look at a fat person in their own lives and consider that that person has humanity and deserves respect.
That's what you're expecting to get out of somebody playing a role as a fat person. Wow, you expect a lot from movies, dude. Okay, I can see why you want a fat actor to play a fat role. You think that all that's gonna happen. People are gonna see it and be like, hey, wait a minute. That fat person in my life deserves respect because I saw somebody being fat in a movie. What the heck? That doesn't make any sense. I saw a fat person playing a dignified role in a movie, so I'm not going to call that guy a fatty fat McFatterson. Thanks, Hollywood. Bringing people together, again.
As opposed to just being a really ugly and unrealistic looking costume.
Is it? Or is that what it looks like to be morbidly obese?
They are both bad, but one sucks more.
Alright, that was ridiculous. I disagree. Like I said, there are long hours on a film set, and I don't think a morbidly obese individual could be on their feet for 12 hours a day. We've talked about this before. Okay, now I'm going to give you guys something that I owe you, okay? When I did the TikTok Thins Tuesday, what we never did was watch the original clip where Professor Brainfever said what he does that ticks off thin people. What an idiot I am for not including the original. We went through an entire series and didn't even see the original video that started it all. So obviously, we're going to look at it now.
Hello, fat people. What's something that
Hey, fellow fat people, what's something that you do that you're pretty sure really pisses off thin people? I'll go first. Sometimes I eat in public.
Knock it off. That's funny. So his was I eat in public. That's what started it all. Oh my goodness. I've seen a couple of TikTok Thins videos uploaded recently, so I may include some of them in future videos. If we get enough to necessitate an entire video, you'll get it. Now we're going to take a look at the first clip of a new series that I'm starting. It's going to be called The Fattest Thing That I Ever Did Fridays, or something like that. If you have a better title, leave a comment below.
Tell me the story of the fattest thing you ever did.
Okay, well, I'll go. So I had me one of them,
I love the way she says, okay, well, I'll go. So nonchalant, dude.
one of them holiday cupcakes, the kind you get from the grocery store that's got the little ring in it. You take the ring out, you lick the icing off because you're greedy.
How do you know me? How do you know me?
One of those. So I had one of those in a bowl with an ice cream. So I got my ice cream and my cupcake. I'm getting ready
Ice cream and a cupcake. Okay, we're not messing around.
to smash. My phone rings. I answer the phone like, hello. On the other side of the phone, I hear my mama's voice. She like, Kylie, get to the hospital now. It's an emergency. I'm like, what's wrong? She like, something wrong with Robert. Get to the hospital right now. Robert's my stepdad. So she called me, told me something was wrong at this hospital. So I was like, I got to eat this holiday cupcake first. So
Well, duh, you're not just going to let the cupcake go to waste. He's still going to be there in the hospital when you get there. If you rush over there first thing, you're not a doctor. What are you going to do, right?
bang this holiday cupcake. I mean, tear this holiday cupcake up. It was so delicious.
I love that she starts reminiscing about the cupcake during the story. So we see that your attention was completely on the cupcake. Like, that's the main focus of everything that's happening in your life right now. You're like, whatever, all that other stuff, whatever. This cupcake, though.
So then, after I done took my precious time and ate this cupcake because I'm fat and greedy, I go up to the hospital, come to find out Robert dead.
Bruh.
Ain't that some true story?
I went to the hospital. I found out Robert's dead. Hey, you know. And it's a true story, she said. Okay, so, while that is hilarious, it ain't your fault. It's not your fault that Robert, you know, passed away. If you did not eat that cupcake and you had rushed over there, maybe you wouldn't have seen him before he passed. Maybe. I mean, maybe it wouldn't have made any difference. Maybe you wouldn't have got to see him one more time before he passes away into the great beyond for the rest of time. But, maybe not. Maybe you would have not made it there anyway. I don't know. No, but seriously, you, like, missed his final moments for a cupcake. I love that. To some people, this might seem a little bit insane, right? Like, you chose a cupcake over your loved one and their final moments here on this earth. But when I see this situation, I have only one question, and that is, was there vanilla frosting on that cupcake? Because, you know, I mean, what are you going to do? Please click like. 1 like equals 1 mustache Komen. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.